Hi, how are you? Right, today we are now to move on to our topic that we've been discussing in our first lesson. Right, today we are on algebra. Algebra, and today we are on basic processes of algebra. This is a level 3, that is a form 3 stuff where we are supposed to understand and clearly know what we call a coefficient in our algebra expression. What do you understand by the coefficient in our algebra expressions, and also how to use letters in our expression, in the way in which we are forming our algebra expressions. So that is the process. As you know, when we talk of a process, this is a way we are moving from the first and the first step, the second step, and go on like that. So first, we want to understand what do we understand by the coefficient. The coefficient of a particular letter, the coefficient of a particular letter. As you can see in our example here, we have this example 1. This example 1, as you can see it, here we are given express a p meters in centimeters. How can you express p centimeters, p meters in centimeters? Right. If we, for an example, we have a 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. This is well known by everybody. And then now we have a 2 meters is equal to 200 times 2 centimeters. Then 3 meters is equal to 100 times 3 centimeters. So now when we have p meters, then which is equal to 100 multiplied by p centimeters. So in every area, in every time that we are having this, you find there is a one figure which is constant, and there is another figure which is a variable. So a constant figure in an algebra expression is called the coefficient of that particular variable. In our case, our variable is p. In our case, our variable is centimeters, that is represented by the letter P. So that is what we understand here in our first example. In our first example, okay, so we can still move on and try to see how best can we make expressions as algebra expressions. Right, we have example 2. Here, this example 2 now, in a class of P students, the average mark is X. And in another class of N students, the average mark is Y. What is the average mark for both classes? For both classes. And as we know that our average mark in formula is equal to total marks scored over the number of students. So in the first class, total marks scored is equal to P times X, which is PX. In our second class, the total marks scored is n times y, which is ny. So in this case, as we are trying to see what is the average now, so for both classes, total marks scored is equal to px plus ny. And also the number of students is equal to p plus n. Now, using our formula that we have here, we have our formula to find the average marks. The average marks, which is total marks scored over number of students. Right. So the total marks scored, as we have indicated in our working here, we say it's a px plus ny, right? In our example here, the number of students is equal to p plus n. So now we have expressed our statement in algebra expression. So that's the process of how we can come up with an algebra expression when we are dealing with situations. We may have letters representing numbers. That is the major concept that we are trying to understand here, where you find that letters are now representing numbers. And in that case, that is the process of algebra. So we have a very good exercise here. We have exercise 4a. This exercise, we have number 1 up to 16. Number 1 up to 16. I want you to see the other numbers. 1, and here we have number 2. Number 2 is here. Right, and we are saying these are the statements, and we are required to create and able to come up with an algebra expression that can be able to explain the statement that we have. So that is what is important in our exercise. How are we able to come up with a algebra expression using letters and numbers? As I have indicated initially, that the coefficient is a constant number that we have, and we multiply by a variable, and that variable is what you call that variable is the one that is we are going to multiply using the coefficient. So we can say the coefficient of a variable number is that is the constant number that we have. Okay, according to our example, thank you very much and thank you for your time. I think you can try to answer this exercise and then able to understand. If you are a hard worker, you need to answer all these questions, and then you will be able to now understand clearly what we are saying. If you have any challenge concerning this exercise, you can write and share with us in our comment section, and then we'll be able to help you. But for the sake for you to continue benefiting our lessons, you can subscribe and then get more relevant information concerning our lessons, and we can be able to help you and try to give you and shed more light in this concept. As we move on, and I'm going to continue posting a good lessons so that everyone can understand and everyone can benefit. Thank you very much.